I like to say that, anywhere where individuals congregate, it's an opportunity to advertise. So a lot of people are congregating on social media, whether it's, the new social media channel, where it's TikTok, Instagram, Reels, whatever. And so I love that approach from a distribution perspective. One of the things you kind of quickly covered was the Court TV, the anchor woman on Court TV. And, some of the outlets you've been on have massive distribution, right? So they have, not only do they have TV, they've got radio, they've got the social distribution. And these individuals just want to get their foot in the door. So is it getting up close and personal and shaking hands and meeting them in person and developing relationships? Like, what's some of the advice that you would say just to kind of get your foot in the door just on those avenues and just in general?
Well, it's true that you should always have a stack of old-fashioned business cards with you, and everywhere you go, you should have your little elevator pitch of just a sentence or two about what you do in plain English. For example, if you say personal injury attorney, to most non-lawyers, they don't exactly know what that is. But you can say, I represent accident victims, right? Or I represent injured workers. Think of it in terms of people who don't really understand the law. How can you have your quick little elevator pitch? Like I always say, when people say, what kind of law do you practice? I say, I represent victims of discrimination, harassment, and abuse. A lot of that is sexual harassment and sexual assault. Okay, everybody understands what that is. And give out your business card. Let people know you're happy to do a free consultation or a free case review. It's the old-fashioned business card is very helpful because people take it, they put it in a drawer. 6 months later, somebody says, I need a lawyer. Oh yeah, I have that card in my drawer. Why don't you call this person? So that's a great way to do it. But again, I do encourage people to post videos on social media. I think that's the most effective marketing right now. And it's free. You just have to start doing it.
Yeah, let's just a little bit more on that, and then we'll transition to kind of some team and some other things. Just a little bit on social, and I definitely watched some of your social media clips, in preparation for this conversation. And are you doing a lot of these yourself? Do you have a team? Do you have an editor? Like, tell me about the composition, just from time investment, all those little things that may help out an individual.
Yes, I have a writer, an editor, a camera person, and a sound engineer, and you're looking at all of those people right now. It's just me, myself, and I. It's really not that difficult. My challenge is always to keep it under a minute. Lawyers can be very long-winded, and you don't want that, especially for Reels on Instagram or TikTok. You want it to be short, punchy, get right to the point. And it's really not that hard. And also, it doesn't have to be highly produced. In fact, I think people prefer when it's not. I think people see those as a little bit slick. If you have movement, that's good. If you come into the frame and sit down, if you have glasses, you take them off. If you're walking, if you're driving, whatever. I mean, I challenge myself sometimes to do it. I'm driving somewhere and a thought pops into my head. I'll pull over, take out my phone, and just do a quick video. So I wouldn't overly stress about it being completely perfect. That's not as important as it being succinct, lively, to the point, and brief.
Absolutely. Such great advice there for everyone listening. I kind of want to transition over to operations and growth. So you've had some of these exceptional wins, these amazing cases, and your firm's grown. So how have you thought about like the composition of your operations and like who you're hiring and also just retaining those key players?
Yeah, that's a good question that very few people ask me about actually running the business. And I have an absolute amazing partner, Eric Fudali. He is very smart, hardworking. We are very much aligned. And so he runs the business on a day-to-day basis and does a great job. And then we have another senior attorney who oversees cases, and then we have a group of mid-level and junior attorneys. In terms of hiring, I mean, we want people who are excellent. I don't apologize for insisting on excellence. I don't want anybody who's just okay or mediocre. We're up against some of the biggest law firms, the biggest businesses and entities and government agencies in the country. We have to be on our game. The other side has these law firms with thousands of attorneys. Our clients clients have us, So it's really important that everybody be very smart, really strong understanding of our practice areas, really committed to getting the job done. People can make decisions. And that's what we have. I mean, honestly, I'm thrilled with my team. Everybody is so smart and so great. In terms of retaining people, we pay competitive salaries, have competitive benefits. We are all remote, which I think is unusual. We had offices in LA, New York, and San Francisco prior to the pandemic. When the pandemic happened, we went all remote. And then when everybody started going back, we talked about it, and my team said, we really like being all remote. Can we please stay all remote? And I said, well, I kind of like everybody being in the office, at least some of the time. And they said, look, haven't we been doing a good job? Haven't we been winning cases? Haven't we been getting great settlements? Haven't we been getting great client reviews? And I said, yeah, we have. They were right. So I said, okay, I want my team to be happy. I mean, that's something that I do to keep people happy. We have a number of young parents or parents of young kids in the firm. I think they appreciate not having to commute. If there's a baby in the other room, they can see the baby every now and then during their work day. I think that's nice. They bring the babies to our team Zooms sometimes. And I really pride our firm on having family-friendly hours. It's something I strongly believe in. I do not believe lawyers or anyone should work all the time, crazy hours. It should be roughly like 9:30 to 6. That's about our business hours. And that's it. And we don't contact each other before or after business hours on the weekend unless it's something really urgent. If you're in trial, obviously it's different. But for the most part, use the send later feature on Gmail. If you have a thought that pops into your head at 9 p.m., send it to arrive the next morning at 9:30 a.m., right? That's how I feel about it. I have a lot of interests outside the law. I think that leads to me being a balanced, healthy person. And I want my team to be the same way.
I love that. And I'm sure even with the remote, you could even allow some non-linear type of work if an employee needs to pick up their kid or what have you with life. And which can be difficult, right? If you're in the office, so you're using things like Slack and Zoom, and is there a case management tool that you prefer? How are you guys collaborating? Because I run a remote company, so I'm actually asking this for mutually beneficial. I find that it's just a little bit more challenging from a communication and collaboration perspective than just being right there.
Yes.
So wanted to hear you out.
Yeah, we have team Zooms on every case once a week. We have the full team, everybody in the firm, once a week Zoom. And then once a month we have a Zoom party to celebrate birthdays and work anniversaries that month, where we buy everybody lunch via Grubhub. They can get whatever they want. We have little silly games and prizes for the winners. And I think everybody enjoys that. We also have an in-person summer gathering, which we just did in Santa Monica last weekend. And then everybody went to the Santa Monica Pier and had unlimited play at the arcade with kids and families and stuff. And that was fun. And in the winter, we do a winter gathering as well. So, and also I encourage everybody to take each other to lunch. Which we will pay for, of course. So take your coworker to lunch. Invite a coworker you don't know very well to lunch. If a lot of our team is in LA, and then there's a group in San Francisco. We have also had people in Illinois, and we have a paralegal in Atlanta. So I think the default is everybody just wants to text, or we use a competitor to Slack. I don't want to say what it is, so people don't try to hack in. But we have a chat feature, and it's equivalent of texting. And I don't. I want to get people off of that. I don't just want to be texting all day long. I think if we're not going to be face to face, at least we can be on Zoom. We can talk to each other. It's a great tool. Thank God for Zoom. And I know sometimes we get sick of it, but I think it's the best. It's the second best to being in person, and we should use it a lot.